All right, man, we gonna get to it.
Baseline.
Hey.
Yes, sir. Another episode, baby.
Yeah.
You're singing.
It's the Porch Podcast. Come on. What? It's the Porch Podcast. Yeah. And it's the Porch Podcast. Come on. What? And it's the Porch Podcast. It's the Porch Podcast. Episode 73. Of course, it's your boy, Mr. DJ E. Right now, with the original. We back to this. Influential illness with the classic shit. Let's go. Let's flow. Let's let them the dough. Influential and give them some more. But I'm not busting rhymes, but I still bust the rhymes and I still give you lines. And one at a time, I'ma keep keeping winning dimes, and I keep on winning. And with my mess my words up, but I'm back to it. Influential when I flow like fluid. You know why? Why? 'Cause it's the Porch Podcast. Come on, huh? Spit the melody up and let's go. Wow. And it's the Porch Podcast. Come on, huh? And it's the Porch Podcast. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Ready this week. You was ready this week. You was ready this week. I like that.
It was side. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. It's your boy DJ E, Mr. Influential, and I'm rocking with my brother, man.
P original, baby.
P original. Talk to him, P.
Yes. Welcome back, family. Episode number 73 of the Porch Podcast.
We call this one his story.
History, otherwise known as his story in some cases.
Right.
All right, 73, man. We had a week where I can't say what we had, but I know some of the conversations me and you've been talking about has been based on a lot of his story.
Right.
It's funny. The thing about most historical things is it seems like they're only important when there's a point trying to be made.
Right.
And you can't pick when history is going to be useful, right? It's funny because I don't care whatever you look at, right? Most of your arguments have some kind of foundational basis built upon history.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to point out a few, right? I was just actually looking some of those things up before we even get into how we're going to dissect the whole concept of history or his story. I was looking up a few little, I think it says about 8 inventors that actually
see how I
did
came
different
back.
things. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got Sarah Boone in 1892. She improved the ironing board.
Ooh, and that I still use that.
Sister named Sarah Boone. Home security company invented by Mary Van Britten Brown in 1966.
Which security company was it?
I'm looking for the name, but before it says before the security system became a fixture in homes, it was an African American nurse. The lady was actually a nurse, man.
Beautiful. And she was African American. What year was this?
This was 1966. She spent many nights at home alone in Queens, New York, while her husband was away, and felt unsafe. And basically, it led her to working on a security system.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool, man.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? But the patent was later put together in 1969.
Right.
Yep. So that was a biggie. Believe it or not, the 3-light traffic signal was invented by Garrett Morgan in 1923.
I thought you was about to say Garrett Morris.
Nah.
I thought you was about to say Garrett Morris. You know who Garrett Morris was? If I'm not mistaken, that was Stan. That was Stan from Martin, man. His real name, I think, was Garrett Morris, man.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Check this out. It was only a 2-light situation before. Then he added actually the yellow light, the yield light.
Just slow down. I figured that was the light that was added last.
So, I mean, I know it's kind of like you don't want to imagine it, but you have to at some point, E. There was just a red and green light, man.
I've seen
you ain't
that.
know to get ready. Yeah, the problem with that is E, I'm saying if you rolling. If you rolling, you don't get the yellow. You don't get that yellow in the distance.
Well, I think they're going to go with what they call the point of no return. That's a lot of people I know who drive tractor trailers or buses, man. They
Yeah.
will tear more shit up trying to stop. Then they
Yeah.
might as well keep on going. But I'm pretty sure that for at least maybe 3 seconds, both lights were red. It didn't just go instantaneously like that one green, that one red, like that. That's cartoonish, man. I don't, in my opinion, I don't think it would be that way.
Oh, but check it out. Morgan bought a car and a motorist. He witnessed a severe car accident at an intersection in the city of Cleveland, Ohio. In response, he decided to expand the current traffic light by adding a yield component, warning oncoming drivers of impending stop.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he did, man.
He bought a
That's what
car,
he
and
did.
one more time, not to have you say he bought a car,
He bought a car.
right?
Yep.
And then he did
Yep.
what? He did what now?
Basically, he wound up witnessing it was an accident. It was a motorist. You know what I mean? He
Oh,
had witnessed an accident, and that's what made him actually work towards implementing the yield light. Oh, yield on your lines, man.
yeah.
So you know what I mean. Now I mean the brother did the refrigerated truck Frederick McKinley Jones in 1940. 1940. Automatic elevator doors, believe it or not, by Alexander Miles in 1887.
Right.
Know what I mean? He took out a patent for a mechanism that automatically opens and closes elevator door shafts, and his designs are largely reflected in elevator used today.
Right.
Check this out. I'm quite sure. I'm gonna spell it because it seems a little bit. It's not like electric. Electret. Electret. Microphone. It was actually co-invented by James E. West in 1964. The microphone.
Right.
And that was pretty good too. And actually, the carbon light bulb. This is the last one I'm gonna give you. Was invented by Louis Latimer in 1881.
Okay.
1881.
Say what month?
I know what you're looking for, man. I know what you're looking
saying this is exactly 100 years before I came.
for. Yeah. Nah, it don't say exactly what month. Matter of fact, I got to give you one more. Color IBM PC monitor. The color IBM PC monitor and gigahertz chip co-invented by Mark Dean, 1980 and 1999.
Right.
Pointed those things out, y'all, as we get ready to get into this week's conversation. Just to point out that there is a real history of things that you can go and actually look up and find out and, and research. And then there's his story.
Right.
It's a difference. Then it's his story. His story may be a little bit, how can I say, skewed.
Right.
E, have you ever been into a conversation? I'm not gonna call it a debate because whatever. But have you ever been in the middle of a conversation? You know something to be true, factual, right? It's actually not even historical from the book perspective. It's a history that you actually lived. Actually, it's about you, and they're telling you something about you.
Wrong.
And you telling them it's wrong, bro. That didn't happen. E, how you gonna tell me? I'm the guy. I'm telling you, it didn't happen. And have you ever gotten into an argument with a joker that's trying to make a factual situation he's dead to right wrong, but trying to fix the history of what took place, even though he's wrong? Try to argue with you? Have you ever had that?
Nah, I ain't gonna argue because I know I already know, bitch. That ain't what happened with me.
So how do you usually handle something like that? Because arguing clearly, like you said, you don't argue. So what do you usually do in a situation like that?
I let them talk to themselves. Maybe ask them what's their choice. What choice do they have? Like what's their drink of choice, blow of choice, whatever whatever it is that they must be dealing with to try to argue my motherfucking life. So I offer it to them, and then I let them slide.
What you offering?
Whatever their choice is, except for blow. I ain't got blow.
No.
No, I don't.
No, you can't. It is, man. It is. That's a part of your history. You're just not going, just you're gonna just turn the chapter, or turn the page on, and just try to forget about it.
I don't have it, P.
Got you. Yeah. Reason why I asked that too, man, is I've heard some funny conversations, bro,
Right.
where things are actually being discussed, and the whole objective is to be able to share information, not rewrite history, not argue history, not any of those things, right? But just kind of just give you some insight. Like if I know something about something, and you know something about something, if we sit down and we exchange information,
And we
it
know
ain't about
something.
my. Then we know something collectively together, right? Now I know a
Right.
little bit more. You know a little bit more. But it's funny, man, how sometimes the personal side of things can creep right into a situation where you could be having a conversation with somebody and you point something out and they turn around and make it personal.
Mm-hmm.
Turn around, oh, you think you know everything. And it's
Nah.
funny as I don't know what, because you turn around and say, well, I used the same Google that you used.
Right.
So if I went to the same source, see, we got Google now. You
Right.
know what I mean? I'm not just picking on Google, but I'm just saying a lot of people, that's what you do. Let's be honest. Ain't nobody running to no libraries to go and get older books. And not too many people. I made a video about not even having a dictionary at one point in the
Right.
crib.
And before y'all say it in the comments, we know that Google also can have his story. We know it's not necessarily
Right.
1000% true for the
Right.
slick person in the comment. But yeah, but see everything that they say, we know that. We know that. Say something
That's
different. Say
that's
something different. say
that's
something
how they
different.
come
That's
in.
all I'm
How they
saying.
be? How they be talking?
Say something different. I'm just gonna clap that. Say something different. What we're saying is, we're not talking about a specific thing. We're talking about how people can research and hope that what they research is the truth, and some things that we know are facts because we see them different ways. I'm telling you, man. Perfect example. All the inventors that you just spoke on.
Right.
You know, they
Right.
can be the sole creators. They could be the second person to create it, and the first one wasn't recorded. The years don't have to be exactly right. However, this is what's documented as the people who created these things, right?
Right. Right.
So my point is, and I just want to say this: all those people, what they did was fix a problem. Moore's seen an accident. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the lady that did the nurse that did the
Security
alarm
system.
system, right?
Right.
The lady who did the ironing board, she just made everything easy. My man with the automatic electric doors, hey, the
Right.
carbon light bulb, they wanted light. The
Right.
microphone was for them to be able to amplify their voice. We're using them right now. See what I'm
That's
saying?
right. That's
So
right.
every time a person invent, anybody just want to be an inventor, I just want to put that out there. Just remember that you're solving a problem, and that's what will make anything that can solve a problem will make everything great. This is why. For example, when COVID was going on, masks were a big deal. Not
Oh, yeah.
saying I'm not saying somebody invented masks then, but they became a commodity. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
people wanted people wanted style, so people started creating masks with different logos on it, and man, get your sports team mask. I still got my Tampa Bay Buccaneer mask. See what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
I say all that to say, not to go off subject. His story and history, we know history ain't going to be nothing but his story anyway, because none of us was there to see it. But like what you said, Pete, if I lived it, you're still going to have your own view of it because it's called perception. However, doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily be right. So if I don't agree with you, just don't get upset, man. That's all we saying.
That's the main thing. That's the thing that it's like at the end of the day, if I have that's why I said what I said, like, using Google. Like we all have the same outlet to be able to get the history of it because none of us around in 1881. Like you just asked me, like what month was it?
Right.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it in the thing when they described it. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna be up here and say it probably was early in the year, because from what I understand, that's the best time to do those. I don't know when it was.
Right.
And why would I create like or try to rewrite history or add
Right.
to it or whatever? The person that you know what? It's funny because those kind of debates, what actually winds up happening too is that you could be in a situation where a conversation comes up,
Mm-hmm.
and because you're so emotionally charged and invested into it, you wind up like missing the opportunity to really be able to have a conversation that could have probably helped you in a lot of different ways.
Right.
Like me and you had a conversation just about like the stock market and how it was one of it's been around for so long.
Yes, I think it's like the oldest form of
I'm gonna look that
investment
up.
in America.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
look that up.
just question, just
I'm
ask, what's the
I'm gonna
what's
look
the
that up.
oldest form of investing in the United States or something like
I
that?
hope it's
Just
okay. Can I use Google to do it? Is it
yeah,
okay?
yeah, yeah. It's fine.
All
It's
right.
fine.
I understand.
You know what I
understand.
mean? Because again,
So
what else we gonna reference?
when was the stock market created?
No, I want to know what's the oldest form of investing in the United States. Like,
What's the
see,
what? Well, I think it's that because you already pretty much
yeah,
cleared that up. What's
I believe it is. I just want to,
what's the oldest form of investing? Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. But like even in the sense of like looking this up,
right.
like some people may turn around and make an argument out of this situation. At the end of the day, it'd be like, yo, are you going to invest in anything? Y- No, I ain't investing in nothing, but I don't think that that's real. Okay, that's cool. Then that's what matters. You don't
Right.
think it's real.
Well, the conversation is not about investing in it. It's about just knowing different forms of invest. That's the thing about investing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You have options. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah. I
have
mean,
options.
yeah,
You going to invest in things that you like.
yeah. I mean, I'm looking. It's a lot of history in it. It's a lot of history in this.
Yeah.
A lot of history in this. Yeah, it's
Did
a lot of history in this.
Did
It
it
might
say
be
what's
easier
the
for me.
oldest form of investing? Did it say was it the stock market or would it just say
It's going all over the place, bro.
right?
It's it's
Yeah,
it's,
that's a
it's kind
broad
of
question though.
yeah. That's what I said.
Yeah.
It may be, when
Excuse me.
when
When did the stock market start? Just do that.
that's what I was going to look up. Like
Yeah.
when was
Nah, I
it?
was just curious if it was
It,
would it
it
have
probably
depended.
is though. I mean, you made a solid point when we had that conversation before. When was the stock market created?
Yeah. Probably still gonna
You
give you a
know,
year.
it's probably yeah. That's really what I want to get to. I mean, the
Yeah.
point about it all is that everything has a history.
Yeah, like 30 years from now, Blow is going to be able to be in stock market just like marijuana is now. I'm serious. No, because we give everything the, the power, man. I'm just telling you, it is.
It said the stock. It said the stock market. I'm not questioning this, Google.
Right,
Says stock markets were first established during the early 1530s in Belgium. During this time, stocks were not transacted in a simultaneous global fashion,
right,
but instead set up as a meeting place between brokers and lenders.
right,
The first market was established, Sandstock. The marketplace was simply a physical location where buyers and sellers or lenders pretty much just met and,
right,
and did their business.
right,
So, you know what I mean? And then it turns around, although first stock market began in Amsterdam didn't start until 1611.
yeah,
American did not get into the stock market game until the late 1700s. So right here in the U.S., fun fact in that situation, based on what we just looked at the history, the
right.
late 1700s to answer that question from what I see.
hmm
So, I
So
mean,
at the end of the day,
right.
that's what made me draw the interest to it. I'm not heavy in it. I read things. I look at videos. It's just interesting because I'm one of these type of people that kind of want to understand the mechanics on how something works.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's just like in Rich Dad Poor Dad, man. The real reason why a lot of people don't invest in the stock market because it's fear of losing, and they also they'll put their money and then fear. The conversation me and you had, patience. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Definitely.
Because even like when me and you was talking about it, you made the statement. Somebody told you before, you buy this, when you buy in the stock market, you're buying things and you got to just wait about 5 years for your money. And again, that's buying and holding, like I said, right? But you said, see, I ain't got that type of energy, so that's the sign of patience. You don't have the
Mm-hmm.
patience for it, right? And
Right.
then the next thing was, um, I said, yeah, I might have lost $30, $40 just dabbling around. He said, see, now as soon as I lost $2, $3, I'm pulling out. But
Yeah.
but that's not necessarily a fear, It's a form of fear, but it's a reverential fear, meaning that I respected so much that I ain't gonna fuck with it. Like when they
That's
tell you,
exactly what it means.
yeah,
Yeah, go to you, Go to you.
like
Yeah,
when it's
you know what I'm saying?
that's what a reverential fear really breaks down to. It's like when they talk about when you ever look in the Bible in the Word when it says fear God, right? But then at the
Absolutely.
same time they say God is love. People don't understand what kind of fear that is. That's a reverential fear to the point where I know He's so real and I know the love is so strong. I don't even want to play with it. Like I don't even want to
Hmm.
joke with it. That's what that is. It doesn't mean fearing because He's gonna kill you. You know, like you might fear the pit bull that's chasing you. At the
Right.
end, you understand what I'm saying? But
As you should. Yeah.
yeah, but that's how that works. That's how that situation works. So with his
Okay.
story and the history that we just realized that it's been here since the 1700s. But the
Right.
problem is a lot of people in our community is just getting into it now because history has showed from where we come from, nobody ever wanted to teach us that and taught us. They just taught us all how to be employees. But again, like in Rich Dad Poor Dad, he said when people get off the fear, stop having fear, of not having, or also having the understanding how to control their emotions as well as their desires, they will understand the power of money. But that's the power. When I looked at that, Robert Kiyosaki wrote that in the book. I'm looking at that's the power of anything. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, let's be honest. We know some people who can't swim, myself included. Right? I'm just keep
Hmm.
on. I ain't a swimmer, bitch.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but a
Right.
lot of people won't
Yeah.
admit the reason why they don't learn how to swim because of fear of drowning.
Not a
Right?
fear of swimming.
Right. A fear of drowning. However,
Right.
I'm not saying I have a fear of drowning because if I had a fear of drowning, I would never get in the water. I don't give a fuck if I'm on a cruise ship. I was in a speedboat last month. You get what I'm saying? I wouldn't do none of that.
Right.
Right?
Right. No, you wouldn't. I don't think you would.
I have
I don't think you would.
I've tried. The problem is I haven't mastered being able to breathe underwater. I don't like that. So no, seriously. So at the end of the day, is my real issue a fear of drowning, or do I have a form of claustrophobia that I may not know?
I mean, it could be. It could be
You
either
never
one.
you
I don't know.
this is you
Yeah. Can't
gotta
rule it out.
analyze
Can't rule
things.
it out.
Right.
Can't rule it out.
Gotta analyze things and pay attention and look at certain stuff. Now you say to yourself like you gotta look at everything, and then when you analyze everything and you see what it is, then you can move at the pace that you want to move. So people who may fear losing money in the stock market, nobody said that you come in and hit the home run. See, the problem is media will make you understand that you only know about the big stocks.
True.
Like for example, bro, you may not know the exact price, but you know Amazon is a booming ass stock.
Yeah. Just
Right.
from what
Right.
I've heard.
Exactly. Or now Amazon, you know, I ain't checked it in a while. I'm gonna check it in a minute. But it was times when Amazon was 3,000 a share. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
Just a share. Or the moment people hear about cryptocurrency, they think of Bitcoin. Again, even with this boom that happened, you understand what I'm saying? This drop that happened, it was still 30,000 a coin.
It still was doing all right. Still was booming.
You
As far as
understand what I'm
I'm
saying?
concerned, I mean, that's what I think anyway. That's my opinion. You know
See,
what I mean?
right now, Amazon is actually down, right? So, and it's up today up, but it's been down for what, right? See, that's how you know the whole market is dropping. But Amazon right now for one share is $2,307, right? So you can look at a certain apps. Okay, we're gonna look at the 52-week high. So within the last 52 weeks, which is the last year, the high for Amazon was $3,773.08. So anybody who bought this, let's say they bought this, I don't know what the original Amazon stock price was. I'm gonna Google that real quick because that I got my shit turning.
Original. Got you. Original. Go ahead.
Original. Go ahead. Go to original.
I got you.
Very first
Yeah.
original price of Amazon stock or something like that.
Okay. Okay, so break your point down while I get the facts for you,
So
brother.
my point
While I get
is,
that history for you.
that goes for the buy and hold. So once we find out what this price is, I know it wasn't $2,300. I know it wasn't that the first day it came out.
Exactly.
You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. No, no. I mean, you make a good point.
right?
But in history, now see to me, all right. I know this is okay.
What it say?
Nah, nah, I mean, I don't. All right. So first off, bruh, this is foreign. This is reading like Spanish to me, man. You know what I mean? I want to get an actual number, for you. But ah, the stock thing that I'm looking at, like November 15th, 2019. It says
Oh,
here at the IPO that priced its stock at $18 per share.
yeah, it was $18. Yeah, I'm
Yep,
looking at it too.
$18 per share.
So it
Yep, so $18 per share.
started at $18 a share. Now
Mm-hmm.
it went public May
Mm-hmm.
15th, 1997. Wow. So
Yeah,
let's think
yeah.
about it. Let's think
History.
about it. We May 15th just was the other day. So when you sit and think about it's what's that? 25 years ago. It's his
Yep.
25th anniversary. They celebrated the 25th anniversary of going public. So a person that bought that at $18, and let's say they just said, "Listen, I'm gonna buy 100 of them. I believe in this. I got it." Right. So that's
Mm-hmm.
times 100. So we all know simple math. That's $1,800. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But let's say 100. Let's just say 100 times 2,300. It was around that. That's $230,000 is worth today.
Yeah.
And 25 years later. So that's the
Yeah.
theory that the person told you, the buy and hold situation. Now, the only thing about it, in 97, they didn't know that. So that's where his story and history comes in. Because history is not made as if something has longevity and it actually lives. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. Right. Right.
But
It's
you
funny.
will
Like I
have
said,
people
it's funny, though.
in the beginning shoot it down because they just don't know it. They're not familiar with it. That's all it
Right.
is.
And it don't support their argument.
Right.
Doesn't support their argument. People will take things like their personal feelings and opinions and use that to dispute history. A factual situation that took place. If you invest your emotions to it now, all you do is you look a little silly because here you are now trying to turn around and say, well, that's not something that I don't subscribe to that, or that ain't the move, or that ain't it. Everybody I ever heard of involved in that situation, ain't nothing good ever come from you. That's a lie. Because first off, if you don't travel in those circles, or if you're not actually talking to people who actually do that and understand how it works, it's not going to happen. Whether you're talking about stocks or anything, because history has a way of repeating itself, right?
Right.
That's why they always say ain't too much new under the sun. History got a way of repeating itself. But the comparisons, that's what's new. History isn't new, comparisons are, right?
Right.
So like when you think about the next anything, like people will turn around and be like, yo, who gonna be the next LeBron? They had to compare it to the history of the current LeBron.
Right.
Who gonna be the next Michael Jordan? They had to compare it to the history of the former Michael Jordan. What they'll want to do is blow past, here we go to blow past the reality that was a different time. So some of those things did factor in to some of their success, some of their challenges, some of their different things.
Right.
But people don't want to use that because that's not going to support the basis of their argument. You know what I mean? So that's the funny thing about history. Like people twist it, people turn it. You know what I mean? And that's why it ultimately winds up becoming his story versus history, because it loses the history element of it the minute that you emotionally invest yourself into it and try to
Right.
change what it actually means.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Just to keep it kind of what you saying with history and staying in the stocks. The reason why people even purchase crypto and try to do these things, and the hard thing is understanding your research on which coin is real, which one is a good coin, a real coin, all that, and what's not. But in 2009, when Bitcoin first, 2008, 2009, when it first came out, it wasn't even a penny per stock. per one. So understand what I'm saying. That a lot of crypto coins don't even start at a penny. They
Yeah.
start below a penny. So that's why people come in and say, oh, "Okay, I'm about to buy 5,000 of these."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
and it's not even a penny yet. Well, let's just say let's just say if it came out to a penny, right? Let's just say it was actually a penny, right? So we said
Mm-hmm.
5,000 times point zero 0.01. You know what I mean? That's $50 you spent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you got 5,000 of those, right? Five
Mm-hmm.
thousand times 30,000. Today that'd be
Right.
$150 million. And
Okay.
you 50 dollars turned to 150 million. And right now it's down. Let's remember, Bitcoin's down right now. Because when it hit 60, that's 300 million dollars. Because at one time one coin was 60,000.
Yeah.
The problem is in us with everything, patience and fear.
I, I told you. I
We
couldn't
don't
agree.
have the patience to let it grow. However, and you don't know which one is going to which. Come on, if everybody knew that Bitcoin was going to do that back in 2009, everybody would have bought Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Everybody would have bought it.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, you make a good point. I mean, once again, though, I mean, knowing that what you know, it still comes down to you being smart enough to not twist it and make it non-factual or make it, you know, comfortable for you. People have a
Right.
problem with history because it's uncomfortable. Like
Right.
we've talked about it in the past. You know what I mean? Whether you want to talk about, and I hate to say it, but times of slavery. Whether you want to talk about times of, different kind of, you know, um, what they were saying at one point or another, bro, dealing with like civil rights and things of that nature. All those things happen.
Mm-hmm.
All those things happen, and they all have a place in history. And for you to try to argue, and I'm not saying I got anybody, but people will try to use those things in the present,
Right.
right? To help, like I said, to try to be the cornerstone of what goes on or what negatively or what happens in life. Like you got some people who believe that anytime a person doesn't get to do something, whether it be a head coaching position in the NFL, baseball team, basketball team, a corporation, or anything, it's
Right.
because they're black. As if they
Absolutely.
wasn't black, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be the case. Whether they're qualified, unqualified, whatever the case may be, like that, because they're going off of history and their emotions being tied into that situation. So what happens is when they get ready to try to tell a person why they didn't get a position or why something didn't happen, they'll turn around and give him their history. Well, you know how it is, man. You know, we got a little tougher way to go. And, we got a steeper hill to climb. And I'm not saying none of that stuff doesn't hold some truth to it. What I am going to say is that we're talking about history. Are
Right.
we talking about history or are we talking about now? Are we
Absolutely.
talking about, and so that's why I'm saying, like, you can't use, to me, you can't invest your emotions based on history that you make his story as the cornerstone of your argument and think that you're going to get anywhere because I don't believe that you will.
You won't. You really won't, bro. You really won't because everything goes again. Everything goes off of perception anyway, and perception is what creates his story, her story, everybody's story. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Of how they
Yeah.
see it. You know,
Yeah.
historically, oldest books, and it's the Bible. I mean, if you
That's right.
believe in it, it's 2022 years old. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
the New
There's gonna be
Testament.
people that, and people dispute that. You know how that
Right?
is because, like you said, it depends on if you
Yeah.
believe in it.
But my point is, that's the biggest book that's trying to explain to you about a form of perception. See, that's why I don't argue religion with people. Either you believe it or you don't. Some people believe in the Easter Bunny.
Right.
Some people believe in the Tooth Fairy. We
Right.
tell a lot of people tell it, not us, but you tell the kids about Santa Claus.
And the twist to all of those things, in my opinion, is it's not. I can't say that for everybody, but just my opinion. It's convenient to believe in all of those things because at the end of it, there's some kind of reward or a gift.
Right. Absolutely.
So, so
So it's
something that actually comes out of it makes it more believable and
Right.
they'll dispute. You know what I mean? They won't dispute the history of it because there's a prize, for
It's
lack of
something
term.
tied to it at the end.
So
But
yeah,
what's made a person understand that? History. Because history
correct.
shows if you write a Christmas list to Santa Claus, you may get
Right,
some things off of that.
right,
But
right,
none of us, when we were younger, said, "But damn, I ain't get everything off the list."
right. How did he go about, or how did
How
Santa
he
go
go about
about
picking what I
knowing
should
what to
get or what
take
I
off?
right?
Right,
Because they
right,
say he knows if you're naughty or nice. Well, I ain't getting trouble, and I was making
right,
honor roll.
right,
But
right.
but I didn't.
Matter of fact, I ain't even write a list. How he
Yeah,
knew to get all this?
right. That's what I'm saying. But I ain't have to write a list because my parents told me, "Hey man, I'm Santa Claus, man." That's what Pop
Yeah,
told me. Me and your mom
yeah,
did this, man. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that's my point. That's what I'm saying. So, you know, that's why I believe
yeah.
that God is real and all that type of stuff. Now, I believe in religion too. What I'm saying is, I don't argue it. When somebody
Nah,
else has a different
nah.
faith or belief, I'm not going to challenge you if you feel like yours is better than mine or mine's is better. I'm not doing all that, man.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I
I'm
mean,
not
that
doing that.
first, yeah. I'm not going to persuade you into a belief. I'm not.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just not my place to do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that's why I say, even with the situation in history, like, what none of us around when George Washington was born, or did any of the things that's in the history books that said he did. I can't argue those things.
Right.
So
The
to me,
Battle of
it's a
Trenton.
blind right. It's like, to me, it's a blind argument.
Right.
Because well, first off, even if you found one person, let's say, don't even go all the way back to, let's just say, that deep. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, something that happened 60 years ago.
Right.
In theory, I could turn around and talk to somebody who's older than 60 years old, right?
Right.
And ask them possibly if they have any knowledge about that situation.
Right.
And they may give me something different than I may go and Google or look up someplace to try to find.
Absolutely.
On the flip side of that situation, not saying that I can't learn from anybody younger, but if I got a child that's 13, 14 years old that's in school still and they're in the history books where they're
Right.
actually reading these things every day, all they're going to do is give me the history that they've gotten through their studies and their teaching in school.
Right.
Now, I wasn't here to physically be
Which is
here
still
50 or
his
60
which
years
is
ago,
still his story.
which is still his story. But I
Right.
wasn't here 50 or 60 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll try to use the emotional side of me, because I'm older. I'm your father. I'm your uncle. I'm your, whatever. I'm your
Mm-hmm.
mother. I'm your grandma. Whatever it is, I'm going to use that as my argument, even though I wasn't here. At least you got me beat to some degree because you're actually reading about it, right? You're actually doing the research about it, and you're giving me some fun facts about the situation. But my emotions, because I don't know as much as you know in that situation. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know as much as you know in the situation. I start to dispute or challenge what you're saying
Mm-hmm.
because I'm older, right?
Right.
I'm not quite 60 years old, but you in
But
school and you 13, 14, you telling me what you have read off of his story in the book, which
mm-hmm.
is more than I can actually even, kind of regurgitate to you. But because you younger, now mind you, that same teacher that taught you that may be older. If they said those things, I would be more likely to believe that because they're older. Not the history, but because they're simply older than you.
a perfect example. Other day, ride with my with my baby girl, and she sit there, and we talking about 9/11, and she say, "You was alive when 9/11 happened?" And I started laughing. I said, "Yeah," and I think she was like, "Well, what you was doing?" I was like, "I was working at the same place I work right now." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hit it with that. I
Yeah.
was working at the same place, baby. Like not too much different, but I remember that day. I said that day was crazy. You know, I know,
Right.
I know a lot of people who used to say the story. I seen the planes. I seen both planes hit real time. No, you didn't. Nobody seen both planes hit real time unless you was there. Because the simple fact is, it didn't pop up on the news till after the first plane hit.
Now
But again,
that's the part I'm
but
talking
again,
about.
his story would be his story because that's what they say. Now, I'm not saying that they wrong. I just said no, you didn't. I just don't believe it.
Right. But see, he could tell that. Like,
I'm
now
not calling
imagine.
you a liar. I just don't believe it.
No, you're not. You're not. You're
Yeah.
not. You well, first off, because you just said what you said.
Right.
When it went back to the news, the scenes that it was showing didn't support the argument that he was making. Now he could
Because
turn around
I
and say
seen
that, but
I
it ain't got to be
seen when the
true.
second plane hit.
Right.
I was inside. A guy told me to come in his house. And he was like, my
Mm-hmm.
man, look at this. And he was showing me, and I was working. And I'm looking, and we're looking at the first building smoking. And as we're
Mm-hmm.
looking, you see it. Shoo. That's why they have footage of it.
Mm-hmm.
You only see everybody. They have. If you ever see any any documentaries about that, you always see the second building hit.
Yeah.
You
Nah,
never see the first.
nah. But the point in the situation that is even I'm just describing that person is just how the emotional side of it
Right.
comes in unnecessarily.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's the part. Like it comes in unnecessarily where a person turns around and you like, yo, you mad at me because I gave you some history that I was able to research?
Because as we know, bro, emotion ain't nothing but energy in motion.
That's all it
So
is.
the energy that you feel like a person may be giving you an energy because they're not what they're saying is not supporting what you said. You understand what I'm saying?
Damn.
You know what I mean? That's
What's
all it is.
emotion? He give it to him again?
Energy in motion. That's all that is.
That's all it is. That's all it
Yeah.
is. You know what else be emotion sometimes, man? We be emotion. And when we get emotion sometimes, man, you know, brother, you as the world's greatest DJ,
I'm here.
you know how to get them in motion, brother.
Right.
And I done been with you at different parties. You know, one of the greatest things, man, is knowing a one-stop shop full-service event company that can take care of all of your event planning needs. Please let them know who I'm talking about. Look, check it out. Let's get that stress off your plate. All right? Got that big event coming up, and you don't want to have to do all the work. I got a company for you, full service event company that's going to take care of all of your event planning needs. That's www.fncevents.com. A full service event planning company. Take all the stress off your head, kick back and enjoy the party. Once again, that's www.fncevents.com. Head on over there, get that party booked, and get it done. Back to the show.
FNCevents.com.
That's it. That's it. So
Fun events.
that's the main thing about the whole situation dealing with history, though. It's people take it personal, right? People take it personal, man.
Mm-hmm.
I look at history as it's a part of the. It helps me in a situation from the perspective of why some people respond the way that they do to things,
Right.
right? Like it's good for me for that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like if I ask Pop something about when he went to school when he was younger, he can give me some history of that situation. He can give us some history about that situation. And for me, what I do is I take those things because I'm not trying to put myself in their position because I'm of the now, right? I'm of the now. But I'm not going to make an argument about what took place back then. Now, I'm going to find a way to try to make, hopefully, that history, help me,
Right.
give me some insight on different things. Like, me and you had a discussion about, like you said, dealing with patience and the ability of it. Like, I found that most times in my own personal history, when I did things from a practical perspective, I always did them better.
Right.
Whenever I did things, my history, my own history, I can speak to that. You know what I mean? I lived it. I'm still living it. I'm still writing it now. I was in a position to be able to turn around and learn more things, in my opinion, when I did it hands on. You got some people that do things differently.
Right.
You know, the reality of it all is that my history is what it is. I used to tell new recruits when I was when I was working and I would be part of the training staff. People would always want to know, some of the old stories about things that you had done in the past. And I would say, like I said all the time, you know, I can tell you some things that that I experienced part of my history. I don't know how that's going to help you in your present and in your future. Now, if you just want to laugh and figure out, or find, the humor in the things that I went through or the different things that we, you know, experienced along the way to get to where we are, that's cool. But my history is just that, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's some things out there, man, that's worth knowing. But I don't think none of it is worth you putting your emotional, energy into, like you said, energy and motion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, into it and wind up blocking yourself from really being able to grasp the concept of something or learn something that could probably benefit you now.
But you gotta have control of your energy and emotion. If you got control of it, then it's fine. You know what I
Right,
mean? You look at a person like Kanye West when he first was back college dropout. Kanye West, he had very high energy and very confident that he would be what he became today. But
right,
as he got more and more into it, he started to lose sight of certain things, and this is why we grab. Well, I'm not even gonna say he lost sight of certain things. His energy is still in the same motion, but it just goes in different directions than what we used to from
right,
him. That's
right,
what that is. You
right.
know what I mean? So
Yeah. So that's why I say, man, like, sometimes we look at certain people and we be like, yo, what's wrong with Kanye? Right? Or yo, what's wrong with, the blank is there for you to insert whatever name you want to.
right,
We don't know all the history of the different things. Like all we know is the history that we're aware of, right? So
right.
we'll look up and be like, yo, man, you know what I mean? When he did this album, you could tell something was wrong. You'd be like, well, when did you figure that out? Now?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like anything else. People take the parts of anything that they feel like they're going to use in an argument, use to benefit themselves, and then they tell and make it fit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you look at something on TV, you can see a healthy recipe and turn around and figure out how to make it unhealthy. I done seen that a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
People look up there and be like, "Oh man, that's a nice plate right there. Oh, that's a keto dish. Oh, okay, that's a vegan dish. Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I could probably do that same thing, but look, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna substitute this and I'm gonna
And
put
put some
this in it,
turkey sausage in it. Yeah.
right? Which may turn around and still and totally compromise the whole integrity of what the dish was supposed to do in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you take the energy and motion out of the situation, you know what I mean, and just or I like what you said. Better point. If you learn how to control the energy and motion,
Mm-hmm.
it might be fine.
Right.
I think I want to get into this week's. Let me make sure I got it right. Would you rather, brother? I'd rather. I think we take it to that. Would you rather?
Just look at my face.
Are you
Would you rather?
serious?
Would you rather me just do this, or would you rather me do this?
Hey man.
And would you rather me get back to the mission? Let's go. That was funny. Wait, are you serious, man? Welcome
Hey,
to
man,
this
welcome.
week's Would You Rather, man.
Yeah, there you go. Welcome to, like E said, man, another week of this. No, okay, would you rather? Well, I ask E a series of questions and eventually I get an answer, man. And I would rather he do the regular intro. That's
You
what
want
I
it
would
one more
rather.
time? Okay, we're gonna go back.
Hey, y'all was listen, man.
Welcome to this week's Would You Rather. We're back. P Original has some questions for me, and we're gonna make it happen. Let's go.
The history of your Johnson and Johnson addiction is coming full circle.
No, no Johnson and Johnson here, buddy.
No Johnson and Johnson for you, buddy.
Talcum.
Would you rather exactly in the green bottle that you squeeze with the holes in the top? Would you rather make more money but be busier, or make less money but be less busy? It's tough, man.
Well,
Tough, man.
I'm
I know
kind
you're a
of,
Libra. I know you're a
kind
Libra, man. I want to balance the scale.
I kind of live. No, I kind of live the first one now. I make more
so
money, but
answer.
I'm busier. But I'm not the biggest fan of it all the time, bro. I'm really not. As I've gotten older,
Yeah.
I have the energy for it, but I just rather relax more and do other things, not always doing some type of work, man. That's the truth.
All right. Fair enough. Would you rather get your paycheck daily or monthly?
You can give it to me daily because I'm not gonna spend.
Okay.
I'm. See, that's the thing. I believe that Jobs give it to us every 2 weeks because that's just enough for them to feed us, to give us what we need, and then we gotta come back 2 weeks. But some people, if you pay them that same day, they're never coming back because they only might need $20.
Hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Okay.
You
Okay.
know.
Fair enough. Would you rather sleep with the door open or the door closed?
No, it depends where I'm at. But I'm a closed door guy.
No doubt. Me too. Would you rather only listen to old school music or music from today? And that's tough, I guess I would imagine for you as a DJ, because you need to for work purposes.
Oh, well, yeah,
I mean,
being a
it
be,
doesn't say that in the question. I'm just
yeah, but
assuming that,
being a DJ, I have to listen to it all. But if I wasn't, no, I'm cool. I'm good with old school. You know why?
Okay.
Cause
Why?
cause that way I hear everything. Cause eventually the songs today will become old school. I just hear them later.
That's true. All right. Would you rather explore the sea or space?
Space, space. Yeah.
No doubt. Would you rather? No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. All right. Oh, okay. Good question here for you. Would you rather be on a reality TV show
Okay.
or a game show?
I probably do reality TV. I feel like that. I was only
I
on
don't,
one ep.
I
I
don't
was
know. Oh
I
my
was only on
gosh,
one.
yo.
The game show I will only be on one episode.
Yeah, it don't say like you the host and nothing. So I
Yeah.
guess
So
you
yeah.
just, I
So
don't know.
reality TV. I'm assuming reoccurring. Not maybe not every episode, but if it's a 10 episode season, I might end up on four.
Yeah,
Let's say that. Like I can spin that better. I can make more money off that. Now I'm just visiting clubs. You know. E from Willy Wonka in the chocolate store. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just could be any motherfucking thing. Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather have a lot of acquaintances or just one really close friend?
I think the really close friend is more special than a lot of acquaintances. I mean, it's good to have, see, my thing is, it's good to have connections. So you got to have,
Right,
so I guess
right,
you would look
right,
at some of
right.
them as acquaintances, but it all depends on what you do. At the end of the day, you're going to need people for something at the time. So I'd rather just be a nice guy and have to just, I guess, pay my way or do what I got to do with a close friend I could trust. Because everybody needs somebody they could trust.
Yeah, and I think that especially, I mean, I don't want to say that because it may come out, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Especially the older you get.
Right.
Only reason I say that is because I think the more seasons you get in life, the less time you have to really, how can I say, like spread yourself thin. I think when you're younger, you got a lot of spunk, a lot of energy, and you can move around and do a lot of different things. And you're trying to figure yourself out.
Right.
You don't even probably know who that real good friend is right away early because everybody's young, everybody's running, everybody's available, and it's a difference. To me, you find out who that person is as you grow up and as you have different experiences in life, and you find that they're always somewhere in it, right there in the mix of it, right there helping you pick up the pieces of it. So I think that you have more, in my opinion, more wherewithal to understand what the value of that significant or that one really good friend is.
Right.
Would you rather own a penthouse or rent a mansion?
Um, Ownership of a penthouse. I'm gonna always be an owner guy over rent all day. Because the world we live in now, I could take that penthouse and actually treat it as an Airbnb at times.
True. I mean, once again, I mean, ESPN is just going off. I mean, once again, I think time, I think history,
Hmm.
I think experience, all those things make these questions. Like it's funny, we play this game now, either would you rather's or this or that. But if you asked us some of these same questions 20 years ago, I think our answers would probably be different. Some of them.
Absolutely, absolutely. But the good thing about that is, if you're exactly the same that you were 20 years ago, then where's your growth?
I mean, to some degree, I mean, I think that
Oh yeah, not that, and that's not everything. I'm just saying, but
yeah.
certain things,
I
yeah,
mean, like, yeah, for the overall body of work or overall body of life,
yeah,
I agree with you. I think
right.
that you should have advanced in some things.
But
I
I'm
think
just
that you should have,
saying, I'm basing it upon this last question you just asked me. Ownership of own a penthouse or rent a mansion. You know, yeah, 20 years ago we might have said rent a mansion because you could have more people there. You probably got the pool in the backyard. You could have the crazy NWA parties and all that type of stuff that it used to have, and everybody coming in. But look, what I mean of growth in our mind. Like I can't take a rented property that I live at. I could throw all the parties, but I can't turn it into an Airbnb and make money for me even when I'm not there. You see what I'm saying? But with the
right.
penthouse, I can. So that's what I mean, the growth of mentality. Because we went from everybody thinking we was the man by seeing us the man, but really trying to be the man. And what I mean be the man, not be the guy that everybody want to be with. No, being a man is being able to take care of my family and my kids and all that stuff because I made better decisions that's given us a better financial form of freedom. You know what I mean? Because think
Right.
about it. Penthouse is probably more secure. Everything.
Right. No,
Wasn't
I mean,
nobody
I
just
think that
getting up in Ghost Crib.
nah, 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 nah. Unless they was a ghost. You know what I mean? But I think just to add, like you said to it, just the key word was ownership. So
Right.
ownership is a key word. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you another one. Would you rather? This is actually wow. All right. Would you rather? I got it right here. What's right here? Would you rather spend Friday night at a noisy club or at a quiet lounge?
Quiet Lounge.
Okay.
But years ago, it
Would
used
you?
to be a noisy club. And I'm not saying that just necessarily growth. It's just my choices now.
Right. So would you rather have celebrity parents or a celebrity lover?
I think parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with parents. I'm gonna go with parents. I was explaining that to somebody the other day. How the greatest bond. I'm gonna always feel like, you know, being married is a big deal, right? But the greatest bond is that parent and child bond. But it's not supposed to ever go fall to just them two until it's a point of somebody passed or whatever. That's why we always say it's threes. You get what I'm saying? Man,
Right.
woman, and child, right? We always how we always talk about the trilogies. So the thing is, um, I think having celebrity parents, and let's say you have that great bond with your parents and you love your parents, may help open your doors not to necessarily do the same things that you want to do, but them being celebrities, they may use their you gotta use your powers, your energy, to get certain doors open that you may be the first one to walk through. But if somebody says, "Hey yo, P original from say we making a whole bunch of we making million P original from the Porch podcast is your dad? Yeah, you could come in."
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the lovers, and I'm not saying parents can't cut you off, but a lover can cut you off like that. You know what I mean?
And I guess in the sense of that, since we the name of this episode is his story or history.
Mm-hmm.
The history of what I've seen is if you come from a wealthy set of parents or
Right.
those who are established, it generally does put you in the arena of
Right.
others that could possibly do that.
Right.
You know, I got one more for you before and then we'll wrap that one up. Wrap this segment up. But would you rather be a millionaire or marry a billionaire?
Mm.
That's why I wanted to make it the last one.
Um. What if I was a millionaire, then I married a billionaire?
So would you rather be a millionaire or marry a billionaire? All you gotta do is exercise your choices.
What if I was a millionaire and I married a billionaire? And I'm gonna tell you why I said that. Billionaire ain't gonna marry me if I ain't got no money. At least a millions. At least millions.
So I get that, and I agree with that. I think thought and just to add to it, right?
That's no. Let me tell you why that's. Let me tell you why that's tricky. I'm gonna tell you. I'm just keeping it all over 100 with you guys. It's tricky. Um, because I only wanted to marry for love, not money. You understand what I'm saying? Like my
Right.
logic. Not saying that I wouldn't marry Ben, but at the same time, honestly, what people don't understand that marriage is probably the biggest business choice that you would make when you're dealing with that type of money, whether you're a millionaire or a billionaire. I watched this interview one day with 50 Cent. 50 Cent made the statement. He said, I look at all these rich people, their biggest loss was divorce. The biggest loss they ever made was divorce. So when they got rich and they was rich and they got married, and when they divorced them, that's what took the most of their riches. But I'm not saying that I would get married to thinking of getting a divorce, even though you know that's an option. So in that situation, I'm gonna go with the fact I would rather be a millionaire because when I'm building wealth, I'm trying to build generational wealth. But I would love the fact to marry a billionaire at the same time if we really genuinely love each other and we can continue to build generational wealth as a family for our kids. It doesn't matter if it was her money to me. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna go with the millionaire situation because that's just the type of person I am with work. Like I know I like to grind and reap. I don't want to be the now. A lot of people. They're garbage man every day, and then a billionaire lady come. They're gonna take that. You know what I mean? But if I had to make a choice, probably the millionaire, bro. You know.
No doubt. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the title of that book, man, by Myron Golden. From the trash
From the
man to
trash
the
man to the
cash
cash man.
to the cash man. Right. Um. So my answer to that would be definitely the millionaire, but my reasoning behind it, as the episode's been titled "History," um, if I've already become a millionaire, I've already written that history. Like I've already written it. The manifesto for how I became a millionaire clearly is something that I've already kind of created and probably put in place for my children,
Right.
or anybody that I can impact and give that kind of information to.
Right.
Marrying a billionaire, and understanding how we've heard 1,000 times over, God bless the child that got his own. Marrying a billionaire is a form of a business because if I know that you're a billionaire, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to be operating in those arenas unless we are of the same mindset where money is a big, big factor into
Right.
the reason why we would be pairing up. I've never been a millionaire nor a billionaire, so I can't say how they think. I know the
Mm-hmm.
history of what I've seen
Absolutely.
is that, those people who are of that, tax bracket for lack of terms, they do a lot of things differently than people who don't have that tax bracket. So I do think that a person who's a billionaire won't look probably any lower than a millionaire. And I could be wrong. But the reason why I say that is because it's like anything else. It's about skin in the game. If I'm coming in to this situation, you know, um, worth a lot more than what you're worth, no matter how much in love I am with it, that is a reality because there's a lot of people who are going to benefit long term from, everything that I created to become a billionaire. So I'd say millionaire because number one, God bless the child that got his own. Number two, if I knew how to become a millionaire, chances are I probably could figure out one day how to become a billionaire.
Right.
So that's just my spin on it. But that was the last question on that, my brother. Take us on out on that.
Mm. That was another episode of Would You Rather. Great episode of Would You Rather. Now, rather us get back to the show. Yeah, man. Bro, this was a great episode, man. Episode 73, his story. We had some real good points. I just want to thank y'all because history is shown now. We are now 73 episodes in. And that's factual. Can't nobody else tell us no other way. But, if you missed any of them, you can catch them on all your podcast streaming sites. That's audio, like we saying. Apple Music. Apple Podcasts. I'm sorry, Apple Podcasts, Audible,
Yep. Yep.
Amazon
Stitcher.
Music, Stitcher,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Overcast,
Google
Radio
Podcast.
Public, Google
Mm-hmm.
Podcast, like P said,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Spotify.
Absolutely.
Um, I said Audible.
Yes, you
iHeart
did.
Radio.
Absolutely.
iHeart Radio. And of course, you can
Absolutely.
see our faces every week. Each new episode premieres every week, like it did today, Thursday at 7 p.m. Every
Absolutely.
Thursday at 7 p.m. on the Porch Podcast. That's DAPORCH Podcast. Talk to him, P.
Absolutely.
If you want to say
Absolutely.
something
Hey,
back to
man,
him.
like he said, man, we appreciate you guys locking in and rocking out with us each and every week. As we say each and every week, please tell a friend to tell a friend. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you're listening to it on the podcast and streaming sites, download it. That way you can hear it, and you're going to hear it anyway, but download it, man. And that way you can click it and hit the repeat and enjoy it over and over and over again. And as we say each and every week, you know, leave the comments, man. Me and E,
Mm-hmm.
your two favorite brothers from the porch, man. We love to talk back. We love feedback. We love to be able to communicate with y'all, man. As we say each and every week, we appreciate the time once again. This has been episode number 73,
Yes, sir.
History of the Porch Podcast.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Have
All
a
right.
good one. Peace.
Peace.